What's going on, guys? It's Greg here today, and I'm bringing you a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 gameplay commentary, and what you'll be watching here is some Minibak gameplay, and I will also be going into some tips on how to play at high ping, because that was actually kind of a focus point of this gameplay in the background. I was on West Coast whenever I live on the East Coast, so we'll go over that later after I go over the best Minibak class setup, and yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy that, and without further ado, let's go ahead and break down this Minibak build for you guys. So starting off, we only have 3 tunable attachments this time around, so the ones that aren't going to be tunable are going to be the laser and the magazine, which are going to be the SZ 1mW laser and the Minibak grip mag, respectively. And for our attachments that will be tuned, this is going to be the X10RR40 suppressor, the BAK 9 279mm barrel, and the Ochrazat stock. Starting off with the suppressor, the reason I like this one is it's going to increase our damage range, our recoil smoothness, as well as bullet velocity. And the bullet velocity is going to be the most important statistic, in my opinion, for the Minibak, because it simply has very, very poor bullet velocity. So being able to hit your shots at range a little bit easier is going to help make this gun feel a bit more versatile, and that is the reason I like to use this suppressor. Next up, we have the barrel attachment, and this one again is going to help increase our bullet velocity and damage range, which is our main focus points of this barrel, because, like I said, we want to have the most bullet velocity possible. And I just want to say, take a look at the tuning settings. They're pretty self-explanatory on why I have them tuned the exact way. They're just kind of at those sweet spots that Exclusive Ace went over in one of his videos, so I just have them tuned about where you get the best advantage compared to the other statistic that is being taken away. And finally, last but not least, we have the Ochrazat stock, which is going to help us with our aim walking speed as well as our sprinting speed, which is going to make this a much more aggressive weapon. So, moving on to the playstyle and how this gun overall feels and how you should use it. This Minibak setup is not great for aim down sight speed. Just want to point this out. But that does not mean that it can't be used aggressively, because this build has really good aggressive properties whenever it comes to strafe speed, as well as overall just movement speed. It feels really good for running and gunning, but at the same time, our ADS speed isn't amazing. So there is one benefit, though, is our hipfire accuracy on this build is not that bad. So with that in mind, what I'm going to recommend you guys do is shoot before you ADS and start shooting from the hip as you're getting close to people. And you'll notice that even if you're trying to do a bunny hop or a jump shot while trying to ADS at the same time, this gun's going to be very slow. But if you start firing before you start ADSing, it will definitely help you guys in the long run. So I would definitely recommend doing that with this class setup, and I think you guys will notice some success with this. This class setup overall is extremely accurate, has some really nice range and some really nice bullet velocity, which is going to make it feel pretty good, especially when you're on high ping, which that's what this commentary is going to be about today. So I want to go over some tips and tricks for you guys about whenever it comes to playing on a higher ping. I was playing with my West Coast friends, and normally I'd be playing on East Coast lobbies, which I would normally be around 30 ping, because my ISP, unfortunately, is not as good as some other ones, and I'm not getting somewhere like sub 20 ping whenever it comes to getting to matchmaking lobbies. But I still am getting somewhere around 30, which in my opinion is good enough. Where I think it starts to feel weird, especially whenever it comes to having non-hit scan weapons with bullet velocity and all these other kind of things, I think that you don't really want to try to be in a match that is over 50 milliseconds of ping. And if you are, you're going to start noticing it more and more, and it's going to pretty much be gradual, and you're going to feel it, especially whenever you start getting to 70 to 90 to 100 ping, and you're going to be at a significant disadvantage, especially in a game like Call of Duty, where everything is about milliseconds, right? We kill each other in this game on average in really close quarters fights at about 180, 170 milliseconds, and downrange obviously it gets a little bit more spread out. So if you're at 90 milliseconds of ping and people on the other team are at 20 to 30, that is a 60 to 70 millisecond disadvantage you're at, and especially whenever you put bullet velocity into play, you're going to have to start pre-aiming more, because you're not going to be able to just point and click at your enemies because, well, you're behind on your connection. So what I recommend doing is playing weird angles and trying to play spots that the enemies are not going to be able to predict you from. And I would recommend playing this normally anyways, even if you are on a good ping, but it's more evident whenever you are at a higher ping, is you want to try to keep your ranges a little bit extended because you don't want to get incinerated by a guy who's going to kill you in 180 milliseconds compared to whenever you're going to have to react and everything is going to be much slower for you to be able to get on target and be able to hit those shots and get them to count because, again, like we said, you're at that ping disadvantage. So what I tend to do, again, is play angles. You know, if I have an advanced UAV up or something, or a UAV, and I can see where the enemies are, and obviously I can play a little bit more aggressive, but most of the time what I try to do is play some flanks, play back a little bit, you know, try to get the jump on my enemy so that way I'm cutting down the amount of time that I have to react onto my enemies, and they basically have to react to me, which kind of helps balance out our ping differences. Now, again, you're still going to feel it, especially if you're on controller. It feels a little bit weird, especially with aim assist whenever it comes to higher pings. So, and I would say that all these tips I'm giving you guys, again, it's really good practice to put them into your gameplay, but I see a lot of people, you know, especially in Call of Duty, like to have this really super aggressive run and gun playstyle where they don't put a lot of thought into the match, and they're kind of just running and gunning, shooting at things with no real flow, sort of, you know, flow to their gameplay. And personally, I feel that if you want to improve and you want to see some success, especially when you're at a significant ping disadvantage, and I would say that the best thing you can do is to start slowing things down just a little bit, but you don't have to slow it down to the point where you're just sitting in a corner waiting for people to walk by, because obviously that's not going to help you either. So for me, it's all about those angles, it's all about those flanks, and it's all about trying to outsmart your enemies, which is going to help you guys stay alive a lot longer, as well as it's going to help you when you're at a disadvantage. So again, if you notice your connection isn't really all that great, having higher bullet velocity and trying to pre-fire a little bit more, and just overall playing a little bit smarter about the way you're approaching your enemies and peeking your enemies and trying to hug cover a lot more is definitely going to help you in the long run. But I think it's just really good practice in general to use this in your gameplay regardless, rather than just doing it whenever you're in higher ping lobbies. But you should definitely try to capitalize even more on the way you're playing, depending on, you know, what your advantage and disadvantage is in the match, whether it's you're using a bad gun or if you're at high ping. So anyways, hopefully that made sense. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know about this weapon in the comment section below, whether or not this class setup worked for you. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Be sure to drop a like, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all then. Peace out. Have a great day. Bye.